The day of the reunion arrived wrapped in gray clouds and old wounds, the kind that never fully heal but ache hardest when you least expect it. A single father stood at the edge of a crowded school gym, his shoulders slightly hunched as if the weight of the past still pressed on them, with 3 small hands gripping his fingers for reassurance. They were identical triplets, their eyes bright and observant, their world silent yet rich with unspoken understanding. He had brought them here knowing it might break him, knowing it might expose everything he had fought to protect, but also believing that love sometimes demanded courage even when humiliation seemed inevitable. Before the story pulls you deeper, take a second to pause. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in quiet strength that changes lives, please like this video. Share it with someone who needs hope today, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that need them. Years earlier, the man had never imagined he would be raising 3 children alone, let alone 3 who could not hear the world the way others did. His life had once been orderly, predictable, even joyful in its simplicity. He had been a devoted husband, a steady worker, and a dreamer who believed love could weather anything. But when the triplets were born and the doctors explained their condition with clinical detachment, everything shifted. The marriage cracked under the strain of fear, blame, and unspoken resentment. His wife, overwhelmed and ashamed of what she saw as a cruel twist of fate, slowly withdrew until absence became abandonment. When she left, she took with her not just a promise, but a part of his former self. Raising deaf triplets alone was a marathon without a finish line. Each day demanded patience that ran deeper than exhaustion, and nights were filled with worry about bills, education, and a future that felt frighteningly uncertain. He learned sign language late at night after the children slept, fingers stiff and eyes burning as he practiced until understanding bloomed. He became their voice in a world that rarely slowed down for difference, and their shield against cruelty that often arrived disguised as curiosity. Money was always tight, and dignity was something he clung to like a lifeline, even when it would have been easier to ask for help. The reunion invitation arrived unexpectedly, a thin envelope that reopened memories he had buried. It was a gathering of old classmates, a celebration of success, nostalgia, and appearances. He almost threw it away, knowing the risk of being seen through the lens of failure by people who had once known him before life carved its hard lessons. But his children saw his hesitation and signed encouragement with innocent confidence, reminding him in their own way that hiding was not the same as living. He decided to go, not to prove anything, but to show his children that shame did not deserve power. The gym buzzed with laughter and comparisons, polished smiles masking insecurities polished over decades. Former classmates flaunted achievements, luxury watches glinting under bright lights, stories of promotions and prosperity flowing easily. The father felt out of place in his modest clothes, aware of every glance that lingered a moment too long on his children. Then he saw her. His ex-wife stood near the center of attention, elegant and confident, her life seemingly untouched by the struggles he carried. When her eyes landed on him and the triplets, a smirk crossed her face, sharp and unmistakable, and the old sting of rejection flared anew. She approached with a performative air, drawing attention without effort. Her body language radiated judgment as she gestured toward the children, her expression mocking, dismissive, as if their existence were a personal embarrassment she had long escaped. Laughter rippled among a few onlookers who mistook cruelty for humor. The father felt his chest tighten, anger and hurt colliding with the instinct to protect. His children sensed the shift, their hands tightening around his, eyes searching his face for cues. He breathed deeply, grounding himself, choosing restraint over confrontation. The moment stretched painfully until something unexpected happened. From across the room, a man who stood out not because of arrogance, but because of quiet authority had been watching. He was known among the attendees as a wealthy CEO, someone whose success was legendary, whose presence commanded respect without demand. He stepped forward with calm purpose, his eyes kind and attentive, and positioned himself near the triplets. Then, with deliberate grace, he raised his hands and began to sign. The room fell into stunned silence. His movements were fluent, expressive, and filled with warmth. The children's faces lit up with surprise and delight, their hands responding instinctively, their bodies relaxing as they recognized a language that honored them. The CEO knelt slightly to meet them at eye level, his gestures conveying admiration, curiosity, and welcome. Those who had laughed moments earlier now watched with unease, realizing they had misjudged not only the children but the man who stood beside them. The ex-wife's expression shifted from smugness to confusion, then to something resembling shame. She stood frozen, suddenly aware of how small her mockery looked in the presence of genuine respect. The CEO continued signing, explaining through movement and expression that he too had grown up with deaf parents, that silence had taught him empathy, focus, and resilience. His success, he implied, was rooted in listening differently and understanding beyond sound. The father felt tears blur his vision, not from sadness but from an overwhelming sense of validation. For years he had fought battles no one applauded, sacrifices no one noticed. In that moment, a stranger's kindness illuminated the truth he had always known but rarely heard echoed back. His children were not burdens or mistakes, they were whole, capable, and worthy of honor. As the evening unfolded, conversations shifted. People approached with genuine interest, learning basic signs, offering apologies, sharing stories of their own struggles. The father found himself included rather than excluded, his story listened to without judgment. The CEO spoke of inclusive programs, of scholarships, of opportunities designed for children like his, and the possibility of a future that no longer felt so narrow. Hope, once fragile, began to solidify into something strong and tangible. The ex-wife lingered at a distance, her confidence eroded by self-reflection. She attempted to reinsert herself into the narrative with superficial gestures, but the children's attention remained firmly rooted in the warmth they felt from those who truly saw them. The father realized that closure did not require reconciliation, it required release. He no longer needed her approval or regret to move forward. By the end of the night, the gym felt transformed, as if the walls themselves had absorbed a lesson in humility and compassion. The father and his children left hand in hand, their steps lighter than when they arrived. Outside, the clouds had parted, revealing a quiet sky scattered with stars. He knelt to sign his gratitude to his children, promising them a life defined not by limitations but by love, perseverance, and unexpected allies. If this story is touching your heart right now, if you feel that swell of emotion that reminds you of humanity's better side, please take a moment to like this video, share it, and stay connected with the channel. Your engagement keeps these stories alive. Before the ending, we have one special request for you. Please comment the word kindness below if you believe small acts of understanding can change lives. The reunion became a turning point, not because it erased pain, but because it reframed it. The single dad returned home stronger, carrying with him the knowledge that dignity can outshine mockery, that silence can speak volumes, and that love, when defended fiercely enough, invites miracles. The wealthy CEO faded back into his world, but his impact remained, woven into the future of 3 children who now knew their voices mattered, even without sound. And somewhere deep within a father's heart, a quiet peace settled, the kind that comes from standing tall in the face of judgment and walking away transformed.